Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Doug's vlog, and we started the week off with a closed grip bench press, and we got a really easy 315. Of course not 100% max for him. Nice good pause, drive it up easy. Again, good training max for Doug, so we're happy with that. For supplemental work on his max effort day, we did floor presses. We did a little incline benching because right now I want to really work on bringing his pecs up. So I might even rotate back in some pause benching. And of course, something I'm trying to get him to focus on a little more, I've got to remember to keep reminding him, is getting pauses in on all this rep work. And the reason for that, his pecs are limiting his bench. Now, I've got people who are like, but doesn't he bench double his body weight in meets? Yeah, but it doesn't mean we can't get better, right? Doesn't mean we can't get better. I believe Doug is capable of a 405 bench. I think he'll do it within the next 2 years in the 181 class. Okay, I think he'll do it. Now, for those curious, we do the 181 because we haven't messed with water cuts yet for him. He doesn't really have to cut water to make the 181 because he walks around most of the time, anywhere from 170 to 180 pounds anyways, depending on whether he's bulking or cutting. He's obviously a pretty lean guy. This is him bulked up, for those curious. This is him bulked at a slightly higher body fat. Doug has definitely been leaner than this, and I know he's lean and looks athletic now. But it gives you a context. This is something, you deal with as a coach with your different lifters. Some of your lifters are going to be a lot leaner than others. In his case, we eat junk food. And I know that sounds contrary to what I advise and what I do, because I don't really do those things because I'm on the other end, right? For me, getting lean is hard and I gain fat easy. I don't eat a lot of refined foods. In Doug's case, he eats ice cream and stuff. I know some of you guys are hating, but on his end, he's like, yeah, but the downside is he's like, I'm miserable trying to eat sometimes to gain. And it's not like he's on low calories either, keeping in mind he's a pretty active guy. So we also do dumbbell rows. We do lateral raises, band press downs, JM presses, all that stuff. All right, max effort, lower day, deficit deadlift. I believe this was 455. And he's standing on a little board. We got a deficit. We didn't quite get it in the camera, but that's okay. So the plan's going to be, I'm hoping on the platform this year we can crack a 500 deadlift. He's never deadlifted 500 before. I know people are like, this guy benches like 360. It's like, yeah, he's a good bencher, right? He's built to bench, and he's dealt with an injury history in the low body, so there's always some catching up to do there. Supplemental work, I have him do things like right now split squats. I don't think we got footage this week of the split squats. That's what we're missing. I'm having him do some Romanian deadlifts for this phase, mainly because he squats almost as much as he deadlifts most of the time, and I want to get just that little bit of extra posterior chain work. And in his case, I want to get that without worrying about his back and everything else. Again, just in Doug's case, look how strong he is as far as the back goes, right? He cranked out, I think, one of these sets on here this week. He got 17 pull-ups. I've put up footage of him before we were vlogged way in the past of him doing like 5 reps on a pull-up with a pair of 45-pound plates. Like Doug can crank out pull-ups. Really got to bring up that posterior chain. Okay, that's where he's lacking. So right now we're strapping up with some Romanian deadlifts, pushing those a little bit. Then I'll rotate good mornings back in for him. Then of course we always finish up with reverse hyperextensions. All right, speed bench day, similar to most of my other people. I run his speed work a little heavier as far as the straight weight goes, mainly because, again, we're powerlifting. We're pretty much in season. We got more meets coming up. But I rotate him on the grips the same way, 9 triples, 3 sets wide, 3 sets medium, 3 sets close. Then I have him do sets of 10 on the incline bench. Again, incline benches he's very strong at, but we use it. But again, coming up, I think I'm probably going to focus on a little more pause benching in the next phase. Cut some of the floor pressing out. I want to really, really hammer the pause benching. I need to bring his pecs up. If we can get his pecs bigger, his bench will go up to the next tier, right? Because previously at one time we had gotten to 360 before, then he got detrained a bit. We've gone through some stuff back up in the 350s. But his 360 was touch and go. I would like to see him early in this year on the platform. I'd like to see a good 365 paused. Okay, so we'll be past double body weight at that point. Then we do our normal rows, our dumbbell rows. We do high rep band press downs for his tendons. Okay, high rep press downs for the tendons. Again, trying to keep those tricep tendons healthy with him doing all the J-arm presses. Again, want to keep his tendon health good. Okay, dynamic effort, lower day. Speed squats, speed box squats with the safety squat bar. And then speed conventional pulls. Okay. I do think next phase I'm leaning in the direction of taking these over to a deficit just to rotate things around a little bit. Of course, there he is just cranking out pull-ups for days. Like I said, we're up to where he's doing sets of 15, and I think it's something like 15, 15, 17 on this last workout. So 17 is a final set. Again, Doug is no slouch on the pull-ups. So again, when we see how strong that middle and upper back is, we know where his limits are on the deadlift. We know where we're weak. It's not up there. Okay, it's those glutes. It's the hamstrings. Keeping in mind we tore a hamstring last year. Again, just where his weak links are. So we have to work on those things. We work on where we're weakest. You know, even though the bench, we know the bench is his strongest lift by far, we still address the weak links in it. Okay? We want to get him to an elite bench. All right. We know the deadlift is his weakest, and we know where he's weakest on the deadlift. But, you know, again, watch this pull. Notice that shaking right there. Okay, that's also indicative of something. That's worth noting. Right as we transition to the knee, following through with that hip extension, he gets shaky right there when it gets heavy. We get up to a max or near a max, we get that shaking happening. Okay, this is a stabilization issue on his point. Fighting those hamstrings. They're really fighting to follow through where the bar transitions. So again, just watch that for a while. I'm going to leave that through for people to watch as the video finishes up. But this is what we do with coaching. You know, we find those weak links. And in his case, we've got a lot of signs of where his weak links are on the deadlifts. We can watch the movement patterns. We can look at where he gets hurt. We can watch his biomechanics on the pull. We can look at his ratios on lifts. He is strong as hell on back movements. The guy did pull-ups, did 15, and then his final set did 17 pull-ups with an overhand grip. Right? We know where he's strong and weak on his deadlift. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.